Hello and welcome back to Sustainable Teacher. If it is your first time here, my name is Leticia and I'm glad to meet you. And if you've been here before, I'm happy to see you again. In today's video, we will keep going in this unit about the Earth dynamic, talking about igneous processes, also metamorphic processes and sedimentary processes that we talked in the first video of this unit, okay? So if this video sounds interesting to you, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. So let's start with the igneous processes, those related with the magma. So as you know, there is magma inside the Earth, and the magma can, if they find a more fragile point in the mantle, this magma can go up, or in the crust due to subduction processes, friction, pressure, etc., we can form new magma as well. So, or due to these convection waves, or due to this magma ascending, or due to this subduction process, in the end, under the crust we can have some magma sometimes. Where can we usually find magma? In the divergent borders, so where new crust is being created, because magma will go out to create new crust when it gets solid. In the subduction borders also, and sometimes in some inner points in continents, when those magma ascensions happen, okay? The thing is, where we have this magma, usually we can find volcanoes. And also where we have magma inside the Earth, if temperature or pressure condition changes, this magma can be solidified, so we can find igneous rocks inside, not only outside volcanoes, okay? Let's see the type of igneous rocks depending on where can we find them, okay? So if magma solidifies inside the Earth, we call them, those rocks that come from magma, plutonic rocks, okay? Because the big mass of magma solidified inside are called plutons. The main example of this type of rocks is granite, that you can find in the countertops of your kitchens usually. If they go outside, magma outside volcanoes is called lava. When lava solidifies, it becomes some type of volcanic rocks. And the most typical volcanic rock, that this black rock which is very with a lot of pores, is called basalt. Okay, this is the one in the picture here. And sometimes materials can get in those more fragile surface and solidify there. And in this case, we call them subvolcanic rocks, because they are in the middle between plutonic and volcanic, because they don't get outside, but they don't stay just inside, okay? So that's the difference. They are not really common. I just included them in here just for you to know. So apart from these three types of rocks that we can find depending on the location of these rocks, let's talk a little bit about volcanoes and volcanic activity. So usually volcanoes has a conic shape like a mountain, not always, and we call this mountain the volcanic edifice. It's a bad translation of Latin, okay? But this is how we call this. The conducts, okay, like at the chimney where lava goes up, is called conduit, like in French. And the hole outside that is the same is called crater. And the magma is stored somehow inside the volcano in a place called magma chamber. So when an eruption occurs, the magma chamber will be activated, it will be filled with magma that will go out the conduit to the crater, forming new lava. But lava is not like a very general concept. What can we really find in lava? Of course, fluid material, which is the lava, some solid materials called pyroclasts that just solidify when they go outside, and some gases also, because usually volcanic eruptions are explosive. Not always, sometimes they are just really fluid and liquid, okay, but in the volcanoes we have in Europe, for instance, they are explosive. So when the eruption starts, an explosion happens, lava will flow through the volcanic edifice, but some gases will be released, and in the explosion sometimes some fragments of lava are expelled and they dry automatically in the air, and these are the pyroclasts. Depending on the size, they receive different names. If they are really small, they are called ash, like ashes. If they are like smaller rocks, they are called lapilli, but really small, like a chickpea or a walnut. And if they are bigger than this, they are called bombs. Bombs can even be like this big, okay, not just this. This is a bomb, this is also a bomb, and this is a lapilli. And ashes you already know. So now let's change to metamorphic rocks. As we talked in the first video, metamorphic rocks are a special type of rocks that change their structure or composition without being fluid. And this happens mainly due to two reasons. Or they are submitted to a lot of pressure, for instance in subduction areas, and the sediments in there, like clay sediments, transform into stale rock, or some rocks, for instance in those conduit in the volcano, get in contact with really hot lava, and due to this temperature contrast they change, okay? Or due to some water flowing that can change the composition in minerals, they can also change. And finally, sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are the consequence of the four processes. The big picture is the sedimentary process, but the sedimentary process has 4 steps. First, meteorization, which is starting to modify the surface of the rock. So then when the erosive agent arrives, could be water, could be wind, could be ice, they will remove from the surface of this rock some fragments. Those fragments will be transported from the top of the hill to downhill with a river, okay? Or from one point to the desert to another point in the desert due to wind. They will be transported, and in the end, when the transporting agent doesn't have enough energy to keep transporting the fragments, they will get settled, and this settlement is called sedimentation. Years after years, like 1,000 million years of being layers of sediment sedimented over other layers of sediments, some new rocks will be formed with these sediments, okay? And we can make the difference into 2 types of sedimentary rocks. If we can see fragments from previous rocks all together glued, like cemented in a big matrix of material, we call this rock detritic rocks. And if we can't differentiate different type of rocks, different type of grains, and all the rocks look the same, of course not looking with a microscope, I'm talking about looking with our very eyes, we call them non-detritical, or also sometimes we can call them chemical. Okay. In this second case, usually the transport is not physically, so they are not transported with like by pushing them with wind or with water. They are transported dissolved in water, and in the future, if the water evaporates or the concentration is too big, the material, the dissolved material, will precipitate. And in any case, with the physical transport or chemical transport dissolved, they will always precipitate or end in a sedimentary basin. Okay, as in is in this sedimentary basin, where we will have different sediment layers, and millions of thousands of years later, those sedimentary materials will be transformed in sedimentary rocks in a process called diagenesis, which is the creation of new sedimentary rocks. And that's the end for today. I hope you understand now more of these three types of rocks and where they come from. In class we will see them physically, we will work and identify them. So if in any case, if you already have any doubt, please leave it in the comments, and of course, see you soon.